I saw the school 3 years ago.
What did your teacher in your primary school tell you about secondary school?
She told us that it was going to be hard and we needed to cop ourselves on to do better at it, to learn more and study harder. I'd know my brother, some of his friends, and some of the students that I met at the open day. The career guidance came into the school, Miss Foley, and she told us a lot about the new subject.
Luke was very nervous about the entrance assessment. He wasn't sure, was there Irish, was there not Irish, what format it would take. And
just about the entrance exam, I prepared by looking over some of the books in the school and a little bit of studying to get myself prepared for it. I was very nervous about the entrance exam because I wanted to get good results, because it has a saying whether you could go into pass class or honours. I'm glad about the entrance exam and the way it's over, because lots of pressures off my back. About the open day, it was good because they'd show you where to go, and they'd show you some new teachers, and that's where you'd meet up with some of your friends that you'd be staying with for the next couple of years. So.
Well, I think open days are a great idea. It's a great idea to bring children around and get an idea for the building.
When they know where they are and they know how to get around the school, they feel like they belong there. So I think it's going to be different because the teachers know that you're more responsible.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous about Luke going to secondary school.
I think I'm too big for primary school. I know it's time to move on.
I hope he does. I hope he was really happy and stimulated in secondary school.
26%, over 120 of our 450 are newcomer. The majority of those children would be Nigerian, and very often newcomer parents are not aware of the need to register to children at an early age.
The big issue really is finding a school where they feel welcomed. Now, particularly children from the most disadvantaged background here, a lot of families would find that they wouldn't have felt welcomed in schools perhaps that they had visited.
Also familiarising people with the different schools, where they're located.
Jerry and I would believe firmly that the main thing that any sound education is based on is solid relationships, and if the children don't have that solid relationship, they will not want to be at school, they will not succeed, and they will not feel valued or part of the school life. So it's extremely important that personnel from the secondary schools link in with the primary schools, talk to the teachers, get to know that this child, has strengths, has weaknesses, but that this is a real person and that the child can pick up those vibes from day one.
Our experience has been that a number of secondary schools would actually visit here. They would make presentations to our students, they PowerPoint presentation, video presentations. But I think we just need more communication between schools, sitting down together to find out what is good, what is not good. One of the things now that causes great concern, I think, within primary schools, purely from a management point of view, are the notion of entrance tests. Personally, I don't worry about the achievement or attainment levels, although the children do, and I mean obviously you prepare them adequately. The difficulty is the timing.
After confirmation or entrance tests, they switch off. They feel, I'm too big for this fishbowl anymore, I want to move out.
If I could change one thing, and again purely from a selfish point of view, I would ask that the dates of exams be later in the year, as late as possible.
If the children in particular have educational needs that are being addressed in a primary school, they really need to discuss that with the secondary school from the point of view of seeing if those facilities will be continued there. Yeah, well, I think a lot is already being done, in fairness to the secondary schools, by having open evenings, by inviting parents with their students to come up and have a look around the school. Principals come down. I am always very impressed if I see a principal from a school walking in here and saying, as happened recently, I want to meet the 4 boys who are coming from your school next year. That shows I want your students, I care about them. Transfer of information in the forms of reports. We keep very detailed school reports right from junior infants. There's no reason why parents would be only delighted to give the permission for those to be transferred, so that the secondary schools see the humanity of this child, like kind of a portfolio, like they do if they're going to art college, not hugely detailed, showing what they did in 6th class, but also helps primary schools to keep the children focused. Disadvantaged children who show potential should be given the chance to perform well. In some schools they're not. The area determines, in some cases, what classes they go into, and I would like to see that looked at.
Yes, well, the transfer programme really is ongoing from September through to the following September, between meetings with parents, meetings in primary schools, invitations to students to attend information meetings, registration, enrolment, visiting students who have registered, allaying their fears, dealing with their issues as they're raised through the 6th class teachers and the school principals, and leading on to the enrolment exam, and a follow-up meeting with parents then about the details in class placement, purchase of uniform, choices of subjects. Transfer programme is ongoing even throughout the summer. Fun days arranged so that students can meet each other, coming from 32 different feeder schools as we have, that they will feel less isolated if they have the opportunity to meet with new friends, because they look forward to making new friends and they also fear the loss of their old friends. So you're breaking down some of those anxieties that you feel are there and that have been identified in the past.
While, as Mary said, the information goes out to the primary school around the class placement for each child, and there also is included in that a form that teachers are asked to fill in around the students when they're coming in, what their strengths are, if the teacher thinks that they may face difficulties, all of that. And I have to say, some of the primary schools are so diligent about filling those out. Some people prefer not to put something on paper, and that's the opportunity when I call to the primary school where you're talking to the teacher, and literally as they're chatting I will jot down if there is something that's of significance. That is invaluable to us.
We also have an induction programme for them in the school, where a few days are allocated to the incoming first years only, with the rest of the students absent, except for a group of mentors whose role is to welcome them and help them blend into the school, find their way around, feel less of a stranger before the whole student population comes along.
That it's very telling the morning of the when the assessments are on, and you will see children who arrive and they will have a parent, sometimes both parents plus a granny, and maybe other siblings, and they are there to wish them well and to make sure that they have a lunch with them and so on and so on, and they want to know what time will we collect them, and there is a sense that this is a big occasion. And then you have the other extreme where you have the child who comes late, or who maybe doesn't turn up at all.
When all of that is done, then we have our entrance exam the following March. So we aim to, by Christmas, have our allocation of places sent out to the parents and the students, and then further meetings with the children in the school before, and information sent out, letters explaining the logistics of the entrance exam, to allay fears. It's all really based around that, to allay fears, any anxieties that they might have. Sometimes the schools are visited and people are met in advance of coming in at all, and then the exam happens on a Saturday morning in this town. All schools have their exam on the same day, and we have students here to welcome and we have teachers here to welcome. But the welcome, the emphasis is on the welcome and on the feeling comfortable. A lot of effort is put into having people there to make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home. Even during the break in the exam, you make sure you have drinks and biscuits and that there for them, so that the formality is taken from it. The examination is based on really an aptitude test, and it's also backed up with a piece on English comprehension, some maths, an Irish test, a general knowledge test, and all of that then is processed to see just where you're at.
I might hear from the primary school that, look, there's a child, has enrolled, they've sat their exam, but they are very nervous, or there is a difficulty or whatever. Well, I would go and I would make contact with that parent at that stage.
Broadly speaking, in Irish, English and maths, we try to stream them according to the ability that they have or that they have shown.
What will work? Okay, if a student has a difficulty and primary school has been dealing with that, what have they done that has worked? That hopefully we can follow suit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to secondary school.